Teaching isn't easy. All you have to do is be a fly on the wall in the teacher's lounge, or happen to find yourself sitting next to a group of teachers at a Friday happy hour to know that teaching isn't easy. It's gut-wrenching, heartbreaking, soul-crushing, inspiring, draining, enlivening, all at the same time. It's downright exhausting. Teachers have to negotiate departmental, school, county, state, and federal guidelines and curriculums, all while trying to do what's best for their students. Alfie Kohn once said, "We can't value only what's easy to measure. Measurable outcomes may be the least important results of learning." There are 4 theories that may be difficult to measure in the classroom and may be impossible to evaluate, but matter in the lives of students. The theories are learning styles, brain-based learning, emotional intelligence, and culturally relevant teaching. When I was a kid, my family would go on road trips to the beach in the summer. We'd wake up early in the morning and hop in the car in hopes of beating the beach traffic. On any trip, or any road trip, it's clear that different drivers have different preferences for the routes they take, and they often select the most efficient route or the one they're most comfortable driving. Only taking these practice routes, however, would result in never exploring the sights and adventures on another route. If my father never strayed from his preference of taking 95 to the beach, my family never would have discovered our favorite ice cream shop that became a Sunday afternoon family ritual. Like a road trip, learners have different styles in which they learn best and can most efficiently showcase their knowledge. Given the option, like my father did with 95, they will most likely continue to choose the path to learning with their most practiced style. Concrete sequentials will follow their natural abilities, as will abstract sequentials, abstract randoms, and concrete randoms. It is, however, when they are encouraged to step outside of their comfort zone and experiment with learning via their non-preferences that they experience true growth. Reading about learning styles has helped me understand one of my current students better and equip me with the knowledge I need to help ensure her success. Annette is a 16-year-old and is currently at risk of failing my AP English course for the year. Annette has a natural curiosity, a love of debate and discussion. Annette is also late to class almost every day. She takes her seat late, which I've positioned directly in front of me, and then after a few moments of confusion, realizes that she has not remembered to take her materials out of the bin next to the door where they've been stationed every day since August. She doesn't submit the assignments I watch her complete. She gets sidetracked when I instruct the class to pass up their papers. Annette is learning in my course. She's an active participant, she's bright, and she's showing growth, but her grades don't show it. This theory has taught me that Annette is not solely responsible for her lack of academic success in my class. What's hurting Annette is that our current educational system does not value the random learning styles she tips towards. In an effort to provide transparency with grades, I and other teachers in the county must update grades on an online platform visible to students, parents, and administrators bi-weekly. The points earned each grade are calculated in an algorithm, and the report cards are printed. This theory has taught me that there are things that I can do in the classroom, purposeful decisions that I can make in regards to assessment to make sure that students like Annette, who are underrepresented in the skills our educational system values, are still able to meet with success. Learning about this theory has given me the insight I need to make a goal for myself about how I'm going to reach students like Annette. During my unit planning, I need to make sure that I'm building activities across all learning styles, making sure that each is given equal representation so that all students are made to step outside of their comfort zone, off their preferred learning route, and to stretch themselves in new ways. As an educational leader, I need to work with my team members to make sure that they too are having students access learning via multiple different learning styles. Since I was a little girl, Friday nights in my life have been dubbed movie night. The movie is carefully selected over the course of the week, and after dinner the popcorn is popped and the lights go down. The chaos of the week dies as the opening credits play. If learning style theory is like the road trip, the next theory, brain-based learning, is like the soundtrack to a movie. The music, the tempo, the lyrics all set the stage for the movie. They clue the viewer into what's going to happen. The tempo of the music speeds up as Jaws approaches the ship. The soundtrack signals when the viewer should be inspired, like in Rocky. Brain-based learning is like the soundtrack for a movie because it sets the stage for the learning that will occur in the classroom. It sets the mood for the lesson and determines how receptive individuals will be to the lesson. Brain-based learning theory explains how some students process information, how parts of the brain function, and how the brain develops. Without brain-based learning theory, educators are not clued into the action in their classroom because they lack the context in which to frame their understanding of how learning occurs at the biological level. They are left watching the movie unfold without any clues from the soundtrack about what is happening or how they should react. Over the last 2 years, my school underwent a huge transformation, both physically and instructionally. The building went through a $50 million renovation, and every student was given a tablet computer. Teachers were given PED, classrooms were given makeovers with special furniture so that students are able to sit and work in the environment in which they feel most comfortable. Let's go back to Annette. Given the choice, Annette chooses to sit on the floor in a giant beanbag chair with her feet propped up on a chair, on the wall, or across her friends' laps. Annette is not shy to make herself at home in the classroom, and she is significantly more productive and more creative when she is physically comfortable and working with others. Understanding the brain science regarding how students perform better when they are comfortable in their environment and how dopamine is actually released into the brain when students experience positive emotions due to working with others, academic achievement, or building relationships, has taught me how to understand how Annette is learning. I was able to make sense of the patterns I recognize in her behavior and her performance. As an educator, I want to be cognizant that my volume is turned up and that I'm tuning into how my students' brains are processing information and make adjustments as necessary. As an English teacher in particular, I will work to ensure my students are processing complex text fully, as this is something that is currently lacking in students according to this theory. As an educational leader, I will work to make sure that I'm helping other educators hear the music too, and embrace brain-based learning as part of their lens of giving context to how their students learn. Since I was little, I've been really into doing makeup. My technique totally changed when I got a makeup mirror. It magnified and illuminated. Emotional intelligence is much like a makeup mirror. Just like a makeup mirror allows the viewer to consult each pore or blackhead, emotional intelligence allows one to view themselves as others see them. Using the mirror or using emotional intelligence, one can then self-correct by being self-aware, by self-managing, being socially aware, and by managing relationships. Emotional intelligence lets one look into their self and their emotions in order to make informed decisions and act accordingly. Emotional intelligence can also be a tool to read the emotions of others, as the mirror can be projected at others to illuminate and magnify their actions as well. After a few months of getting to know Annette and understanding her learning style and brain chemistry a little more, Annette and I have developed a really good rapport. As I stand outside the door greeting students on their way into class, Annette gives me a different funky dance move as she turns down my hallway. As our rapport strengthens, she's actually started to come to class on time more often than not. Some days I don't get that dance move as Annette makes her way into class, and on almost every occasion that she hasn't given me that dance, she's pulled me aside and asked if she could get a pass to the counselor or take a quick walk before she gets into class. During the first semester, Annette cut class more than a handful of times. She would leave campus without permission and be absent for her last couple periods of the day. Over the year, I've watched her develop her emotional intelligence. She's able to understand, name, and manage her emotions in a way that a few short months ago led to unexcused absences and a lack of rapport with teachers and peers. Emotional intelligence theory has taught me the ways students and adults alike can benefit from understanding their emotions, being socially aware, and managing relationships. As I build my capacity as an educational leader, I would like to continue to read and research about how to effectively manage a team in light of the research on emotional intelligence. I want to be able to apply this learning to leadership. I want to be able to use the makeup mirror to illuminate the inner workings of my teams that I participate in and lead so that we can be as effective as possible. I love dessert. One of my favorites is molten lava cake. Anyone who's ever had it understands my obsession. It's a decadent chocolate cake that has the most delicious, oozy hot liquid chocolate baked into the cake's core. Each spoonful a combination of the two, each complementing the other half. Culturally relevant teaching is a lot like molten lava cake. It is the heart of what makes learning relevant and meaningful for students. It helps them make sense of and make connections to the learning in the classroom. The marriage between the cake and the molten chocolate is the ideal combination, just as as it is when students are given the framework during class to connect learning with the students' home lives and the real world. Understanding Annette's background has helped me frame her lessons in a culturally responsive way. Annette comes from a broken home. Her parents divorced when she was 6, they remarried other partners, and both got divorced again. Annette was uprooted at the beginning of high school, forced to move from Brooklyn, New York to Pikesville, Maryland. Her relationship with a half-sister became strained as a result of the move, and the parenting that she's receiving is inconsistent at best. Every day, Annette is glued to her phone during 4th period because she's trying to work out with her parents how she's going to get home from school. They've gotten her to school, but no prior arrangements have been made about how she'll get home. Understanding Annette's background and the cultural norms she experiences with her family has given me the insights about how Annette functions in the classroom. Long-term assignments are her worst enemy. She's been conditioned to think in the here and now, to problem solve her way through obstacles she's about to face rather than the ones down the road. During a recent unit on the Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby, Annette has soared and really showcased her strengths in literary analysis. She inhaled the novel in the course of a long weekend. The same kid that hadn't finished a book all year read it in a single weekend. She came to class eager to discuss the novel, announcing that there wasn't a character that she liked in the whole thing, and that's why she loved it. Each character was flawed, beautifully flawed, and there they were existing in an imperfect society together. Gatsby was the right text for Annette at the right time. She was able to see herself in the themes of her own life and family in the literature, and it created deep inspirational meaning for Annette. For other students, the same novel is dry cake, but for Annette, it cut to the molten lava core. Culturally relevant theory has taught me that each student's cultural identity should be viewed as a strength, that the multitude of cultural realities in my classroom and experiences contribute to the beauty and the real-world application of knowledge. I have learned that cultural relevance is more than acknowledging holidays or foods from different cultures, but rather a way to promote equity and excellence for all students. As an educational leader, I want to continue to push myself to infuse my lessons, meetings, and workshops with culturally relevant pedagogy. This summer, I'll be attending a 3-day workshop just on culturally relevant pedagogy through Avid Summer Institute, and I look forward to bringing back an action plan to implement starting in the fall. The goal of any educator is to impact the lives of as many students as possible. As an educator and future educational leader, it is my belief that each child is deserving of a high-quality education in a loving, caring environment with staff members that believe in them and work to ensure their success. This calls not only for the catering to the intellectual needs of students and school professionals, but also for caring for the whole child and the whole educator. It is through making a difference in the lives of students like Annette that we can change the world, one student at a time.